So this is what I call a level 10. This is what beekeeping is all about, is days like this and going in and taking a look, doing a quick inspection. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look inside one of the beehives today. This is a beehive. If you follow my channel, this is one that was a captured swarm, and it came out of a bee tree close to an area called Stone Mountain, Georgia. It's a fairly built-up residential section, but it's an older established neighborhood, and a lot of the trees and hardwoods have grown up in the area. And it's actually it's before the days where they were putting houses arm's length apart from each other, and everything's very spacious. And so the trees have grown up and they've left a lot of natural woodland and so forth, and a lot of bees have taken up residence in these areas, and they're basically wild bees. The reason I know that this particular colony came from a tree is because I actually saw the tree, took video of it. So just go back a little bit. It's in the 2020 archive, and it'll be around March 1st or 15th, somewhere right in there. But anyway, we're going to take a look inside their hive today. This will be the first inspection for the spring, and right now is March 29th. And I haven't been in this particular hive since October 8th of 2020. And just to kind of give you a little bit of background, when the swarm was first installed, when I first put them in the Layens hive, that's what they're in, they did phenomenal. It's a 20 frame Layens hive. They built out 18 of those frames. So they just had 2 empties towards the back, but they built out 18 of them. The brood nest was centered around 7 to 10 frames, and then the rest was all honey. So we did a honey harvest. We just did a frame or 2 at a time, basically. But they weren't looking all that great in the fall. And I was a little bit concerned that, you know, I think they had some chalk brood issues going on, which, by the way, if you're dealing with something like that, lots of times that will clear up on its own. So I said, okay, well, let's just see how this plays out. And I took some video of them today. They look fantastic from the outside. I do know that they must be laying, the queen must be laying, and they're raising larvae, and that's due to the fact that there's lots of pollen coming in. So you see I've got a little bit of video clip. You can see them bringing pollen into the hive. It just has a wonderful sweet odor as far as the nectar that's coming in. The traffic pattern is light at the moment. There was a huge amount of bees here about 45 minutes ago, and a lot of foragers had returned. So I believe they've just left again, and they're out foraging, bringing back more of the goodies that they like. And so now's a good time to go in because there's not as many bees that we'll have to contend with. So let's open them up and see how they're doing. So last time I was in here was October 8th in the fall. I actually took whatever I could as far as honey, and I don't believe I got much. Oh, it says I took 6 partial frames of honey. That's what I took. There were eggs, there were larvae, but it was a relatively small colony. It didn't look like anything like it did in the spring, and I think that's because they were dealing with some brood issues as far as chalk brood, perhaps. So let's open them up. And I've got it partitioned. It was winterized, so I've got a partition here. And so the bees are primarily here. This is where the colony is, and this is just empty space right now. So let's have a look. And what we want to make sure of is we need to see if they need more space given to them, more frames and more space. There's a few hive beetles that have survived the winter, and the bees are on the outer cover just a little bit. Now I'm running a cover board over top of Layens frames that have the 3/8 gap, just like a Lang straw. So these are modified frames, but they're basically Layens frames. So let's have a look inside. All right, this is my follower board right here, and I've got comb on this far frame, but it looks empty. It doesn't appear that it's got anything going on with it. There are some bees cleaning it up a little bit. And it looks like it's a nice frame of brood comb. You can see the dark, this is where they were raising brood. So I'm just going to take off some of this burr comb while I'm here. And we'll set this here. That's a good frame for them once they get to it, but they're not on that one yet. So let's see where they are the busiest right now. So we're going to remove another cover board. And I hear them buzzing under there. They're buzzing, and here they come. I might have to get my smoker. All right, lots more bees here. Now I gave them a ventilation hole and they plugged that right up. They put propolis in there and they said they don't need it, thank you. We have adequate ventilation from the entrances. Lots of bees here. Now I put a lot of these corrugated plastic beetle traps in here, and I don't know, they're okay. I don't know if they're all that great, but there's a lot of bee activity right here in these frames, so I'm just going to lightly smoke them. And maybe you can hear them humming a little bit. So let's set these beetle traps over here. There's a beetle or two. One flew out just now. All right, so what we'll do is we'll just move these empty frames over. And all I want to do is just see what kind of activity we got going on. And they are beginning to work this frame. And because it's an outer frame, there's not much. They're doing spring cleaning on this right now. They're cleaning these up. I'm trying to catch a hive beetle here. I see them popping out of a cell every once in a while. They're starting to clean this up and get it ready. So based on what I'm seeing so far, there's no need for me to add any frames or move the follower board because they're really not doing too much here yet. Again, another empty. And let's get to this one. What we want to do is I want to make sure we can put our eyes on some brood. All right, they're storing nectar and it has a really wonderful sweet smell. You can maybe see it. It's just liquid, and they're building this out a little bit. Now let's just get a little further. So they've got room to grow. Like I say, they kind of had a little setback last year. Now let me see if I can get one more frame to come out without breaking stuff. Watch out, bees. There we go. Let's see what they're doing. There's more and more bees every time we go another frame in. And there you are working this. And they are putting the baby food on this frame. The baby food is pollen, so they're storing pollen on it. And they're building this out. Now the next frame shows brood. That's good. So they just might need time. You'll notice when you have more than one colony, which is always good. If you're starting out beekeeping, try to start with maybe 3 or 4, even 5. So I understand, you know, bees are not cheap anymore, especially so if you're buying packages or nukes, I totally get it. Just do what you can, but try to do more than 1. 2 is twice as good as 1. There's a hive beetle. I want to just end him. There we go. Those hive beetles survive the winter because it's so nice and warm in these hives during the winter. And let's move this. This is our brood frame. This is as far as I'm going to go. I want to see this frame of brood just to confirm all is well. Now I got some stuff in my way. I got to move my little creative sticks and frames just to keep these boards from crushing the bees. See them all? Yeah, we'll put that back in just a second, but I keep these little frames on here so nobody gets crushed. And let me move this one. Okay, and the bees are being really nice today. Let's have a look at this frame. And there's lots of brood on this frame. And there's some junk hanging off. You know what that is? That's my fishing line. I had these wired with fishing line. And they just, well, I don't think they chewed it, but I think it just gave way. Now I see open brood, and I see cap brood. And if I put my glasses on, I might even be able to see the queen if she's on this frame. Let's have a look. Well, I don't see her here. but she was here. And if I can hold this up to the light, I see eggs and very young tiny larvas. And I don't see any sign of chalk brood. None of those funky cappings. So they look really good. This is the outermost frame of brood. The next brood frame in looks really good, and I'm going to just move the camera in so you can see it. So this hive is overwintered. It gave us some honey. And let's go in. Let me just grab this. Let's just get right in here. Sometimes with the lighting it's a little hard to see. I don't know if you can see down in there. And I'll even do it with the smartphone too. They look great. And there's lots of activity on these frames here. So I'm very pleased with what we're seeing. They've done well. They've done well for the season. And honest to goodness, that's all the hive inspection this needs right now. So we just got to put everything back. Remember, a hive inspection is fun for the beekeeper. The bees are not a huge fan of it. So less is more. So let's get them back to work. We'll move all these frames back together. There's a few beetles in here, but not a lot. They don't really look like they're overrun. And every time the beekeeper comes in, of course, we always squish them. So we'll just move all the frames back where they were. Well, some days are better than others as far as the lighting quality. Today, even though the sun's out, is not considered to be a high quality lighting situation because it's very contrasty, so it's hard for the camera to really show you what the beekeeper's seeing. So, but don't worry, we're going to shoot more videos. This is the beginning of bee season. So let's just put everything back. So when you do inspections, I'm not sure what the timer count says yet, but there's really no need to spend more time once you've confirmed the bees are healthy. So we've done that. They're building brood. They have brood in all stages. They have eggs, they have larvas, they have capped brood. All really good stuff. That's what we want in a colony. So they look healthy, and I expect good things from them. So what's really nice about this particular colony is even though they got, they had a little bit of a setback with their brood situation, they've done well. They've overwintered, and that's a survivor stock that we're dealing with. So even if they, kind of underperform as far as our own expectations go, this is still a really good colony. We'll just put those boards back in there. Now I need to get my pen so I can make the notes. These traps really didn't do nothing. So let me get my pen, and we're going to make some quick notes. You don't have to write down your notes. You can get apps. You can use your notes feature on your phone. In fact, I think that's a better idea. I know there's a guy, I think he sells a program. And that's it. Now notice all this activity that you're seeing on these other overwintered colonies that I've got in my bee yard. These are obviously in Langstroth hives. These are 5-frame nukes. But do you see all this traffic that you're looking at right here? That's what that hive looked like about 45 minutes to an hour ago. And this one was quiet. So that means the forage bees are going out in waves. So they go out, they forage. Right now, it's inbound traffic. And then in probably about another 20 minutes or 30 minutes, it'll quiet down, and that one will be busy again where we just were at. Well, that's all for today, friends. I hope that this short video of a quick hive inspection on a beautiful day like this is coming your way soon. So until next time, friends, enjoy beekeeping.